Welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host, Sahil. Normally, we do the U.S. men's national team match recaps with Rahi and Roy, but I think the two of them were so disgusted by the performance that happened last night that I am going to be doing it solo here today. But we're, of course, talking about the U.S. men's national team friendly, pre-COPA America friendly against Colombia. And let's just say it was an atrocious performance. The U.S. men's national team has not lost by 5 goals or has not allowed 5 goals since the 2009 Gold Cup. And previously, before that, it was something like over 15 years prior to that before they allowed something like 5 goals. So a lot of problems. And this is a good opportunity for me to break down some of the issues that I've personally found with the team over the course of the few years. You've heard from Rahi, you've heard from Roy quite a bit when we do joint broadcasts, but I think this is an opportunity for me to kind of say my piece. So, I was really looking forward to this match yesterday, honestly, because I thought it was a good opportunity against a Colombia team that hasn't lost in 2 years and they've been in top form. And I thought, okay, this is a good barometer to see how good the US is going into the Copa America. And I've realized after the match that there's faults throughout the system from the players to the organization at US Soccer to the coaching and even the fans, us fans, and I'll get to that lastly. But let's talk about the match specifically in terms of players yesterday. Our defense was in shambles. I think Matt Turner could have done better perhaps on the some of the goals, at least the first goal, I think, maybe getting beaten near post. And his distribution, as we know with Matt Turner, sometimes he struggles to distribute the ball. So that was not good in terms of goalkeeping. The defense, I thought, was all over the place. Tim Ream, Chris Richards had their moments. There was a lot of ball watching going on. Anthony Robinson makes a mistake here and there. Cameron Carter-Vickers, when he makes in just some blatant giveaways. Thought Joe Scally filling in for Serginho Dest did okay, but the rest of them, I thought, just too many defensive errors. Midfield, Gio Reyna floats in and out of matches as he normally does, and there was just not much, I thought, from Johnny Cardoso and some bad giveaways as well. And then up front, you had Tim who had the goal. It was a nice goal between him and Balogun. I thought, Balogun had some decent moments here and there, but floats in and out of the match as well. Christian Pulisic, as usual, tried very hard to get stuff going. Didn't get there. I thought Hadjiret had a couple good instances when he came in. But overall, there's one word to describe the performance that the U.S. men's national team had yesterday, and it was immature. And this is a theme that has been continuing since the World Cup. The performance against the Netherlands was immature. The performance against Germany, recently in the friendly that I went to in Connecticut, was immature. This was immature. So it seems to me that whenever we play against teams not named Mexico, we are never able to get to the potential that this team can reach. And whenever it's a team that's inside maybe the top 20 in the world, that's not named Mexico, we struggle to produce any kind of performance that's worthy, frankly. And it's interesting because one point to make on that note is, Mexico, I've seen the quality of the Mexican national team diminish over the course of the last 5 years quite a bit. And I think everyone's in agreement. So the fact that whenever we see the top level performance of this U.S. men's national team against Mexico, beating Mexico is no longer a barometer of success. And I think all U.S. soccer fans know that. But it's shocking to me that we can make the same mistakes over and over and over again whenever we play top quality opponents. And what I mean by that is this. There was too much open space against Colombia. They were allowed to do whatever they want. The defending is always slack. There's people ball watching, just very elementary stuff. And frankly speaking, no matter how many goals you score or how much you try to improve offensively, if you allow defensive mistakes and these easy defensive goals, you're always going to be playing from behind. And we've seen that in both instances. Against the Netherlands, allow a couple goals early, and then it's a struggle to get back into it. Against Germany, you score first, and then you allow a couple soft goals to get them back into the match, and then they pull ahead, and then you have no chance. And then this one, it was a similar story. Two early goals by Colombia, very slack defending. Then you get one back, and we're thinking, okay, now we have to, we have an opportunity to come back. But why are we getting to that point where we're even at those positions? And then trying to analyze the match after and talking about the different things that we did right, because there were some things in there that we did in terms of ball movement and things like that. They're all moot points because the goals we allow are so easy. So if you're going to play this open against teams that are very good and technical with the ball and obviously have stronger midfields than us and stronger technical players than us, you are going to get beat 5-1 and things like this. And it doesn't help the progression of the team if these are the kind of performances that you put in, because no matter how much you try to work on different, offensive formations and moving guys here and there and things like that, when you're so weak in terms of giveaways and different things like that. And I don't mean defense, just the defenders. I mean, across the board, the incisiveness and the level of tenacity in terms of really jamming people, running after people, giving them little space, which were traditional of the US teams way prior. The previous generation of US national teams that weren't as talented and weren't as skilled. But just this very lackluster open play against top level opponents, this is what is going to happen. And the fact that the team hasn't learned, I'm just shocked. And I don't know where to go from here. The one good thing in this is that this happened during a friendly before the Copa America. And so hopefully it'll wake the team up. But that's in terms of the players, because they have to understand that this recipe, which we've seen way too many times, is not working. So let me go to the next point, which is, of course, going to be Greg Berhalter, which everyone's going to say, okay, it's the coaching. And I agree. There's a lot of issues here with the coaching. And at this point in time, Greg Berhalter, we've seen this Greg Berhalter story before. I don't want to speak too long on this because I believe Greg Berhalter is going to be the coach for Copa America, which is coming up in a little over a week. So I don't think that's going to change, frankly, between now and then. So I think that's a moot point. So I don't even want to talk more about Greg Berhalter, because if Greg Berhalter can't figure it out, then who am I to figure it out for it? US Soccer, the organization, 100% there's issues with that. And the fact that they've decided to bring Greg Berhalter back in this situation, and they're continuing to see these, results and performances with what is a very talented generation. I think they have their own issues and the faults and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to touch on that too much. I want to take this opportunity to talk about us as fans, though. And the one thing I keep hearing, the rhetoric I keep hearing out there is like, okay, well, we go through this process, we get eliminated early in the Copa America, and then the World Cup, hopefully there's someone new, hopefully all these sort of things. We have been taking this Copa America tournament from a rhetoric perspective, and what the fans have been saying, it's not only about the World Cup. Let me say that again, because it's an important point I want to make again. It is not only about the World Cup. The Copa America and the way that it is fashioned with the CONMEBOL teams and the CONCACAF teams puts this tournament on par with the European Championships. It means that much. And the fact that we as fans have continued this rhetoric to say, okay, well, if we don't make it here, there's an opportunity later down the line to improve for the World Cup. The World Cup is basically 4 matches, if you really think about it traditionally, where if you're lucky enough to get past the group stage, and the US has usually been knocked out in that first round of 16 match right after the group stage. So the fact of the matter that you're playing for 4 games, basically every 4 years, makes no sense to me when there is a major tournament that is right now that could be the US's best chance at silverware, far more than the World Cup, in my opinion. And the fact that we are looking at this as a training exercise, it doesn't make any sense. It just is unbelievably immature, which is the theme, I think, about this whole video. Okay. So where do we go from here now after this loss? Because the game's done, and that's that. And I want to put a little bit of an uplifting note at the end of this. Um, I think if the players aren't understanding, if Berhalter's not understanding, if the US media, who still continues to give players decent ratings and talk about the pros of a game like this, if you're not understanding the gap between the top 20 nations or top 15 nations in the world and the US, not in terms of talent, it's not talent. We have talented players. There's people have different opinions on how talented, how good, so on and so forth. It's not the talent, it's the performances that are happening on the field and the cohesiveness of the performances and the easy giveaways, the lack of man tracking in the box, ball watching, all these very basic things which make the matches so much harder to win when you don't do the basics correct. And it's not about the complex stuff that we're lacking. It's about some very basic defending. Against the Netherlands, basic defending. Germany, basic defending. Against Colombia yesterday, basic defending. So that is my plea to the U.S. men's national soccer team: is take a step back, get these basics down, be tenacious in defense, be tenacious in cutting off balls in the midfield. Put in that little extra effort to make your pass incisive. Start playing with a little bit more maturity. Reduce the space and understand you're not going in there and playing FIFA. What I mean by FIFA is the video game, because a lot of times this team to me looks like they're playing in the video game, and things are just going to work out. We'll do like nice little flicks here and there. That is not going to get it done against the best opponents. It's war out there, and you have to play like it's a war, and that means taking the tenacity to that level, making sure that you are not making some basic mistakes. So I apologize if that was a little bit of a rant, but it's something that's been stewing for a while because I've seen too many of these performances. So anyhow, we will look forward to the Brazil friendly. Hopefully that goes a little bit better. And of course, the Copa America as a whole. We're all excited about that. We still obviously have faith in the team. I'm still wearing the US shirt here. So I haven't, where is it? There it is. I haven't given up. I'll never give up on the team. But if you're US fans out there and you want to chime in and you've been enjoying these videos, please go and subscribe to the channel. Let us hear your thoughts. And I'll say it as always, go USA, but guys, it's time to step it up.